In this next story, you're going to meet a kid who's blitzing high school science after being accepted into Year 12 chemistry and physics at the ripe old age of 6. His parents say it hasn't been easy finding educational options for their gifted child, and experts say that's not uncommon. As Michael Atkin reports, there are calls for rapid changes to the education system to ensure clever kids reach their full potential.
At 6 years of age, Raz Munro is by far the youngest student at this Brisbane high school.
Ready for grade 12 physics?
Yeah!
You excited? I think we're going to be hearing about dark matter, dark energy.
Yeah.
Do you think that's going to be good?
Yeah!
Excellent.
Raz is obsessed with the nature of the universe, and today, with his dad by his side, he's studying astrophysics.
The universe is going to collapse back in on itself. So do you think that would be a result of dark matter or dark energy?
Dark matter.
Yeah, why do you say dark matter?
Because this dark energy wants to blow the universe apart.
He's this little 6-year-old kid with, scruffy hair and a 6-year-old way of speaking, but listening to him actually explain some of those concepts is really quite incredible.
But Raz's giftedness wasn't identified at school. He was naughty in class, and his teacher thought he had autism.
Almost half of the work I do at school I do not like.
When he first started at prep, he was running away, he was not staying in the classroom, he was bouncing off walls, he was disrupting the other kids' learning.
Is that right? Yeah! That's a chemical reaction. Lots of heat, lots of light.
But these workshops changed all that.
What's there instead?
Magnesium oxide powder.
Magnesium oxide powder, exactly.
Ian Stewart teaches high school science to primary school kids. Raz began these classes at the age of 4.
Raz went through all of the It's Atomic workshops in breakneck speed. It was just... and he also consumed all of the post-workshop materials, like the videos that we have online. And then he started to get interested in particle physics. If I want to understand about particle physics, sometimes I ask Raz to explain it to me.
Gifted people are in the top 10% of that domain. So if we're looking at gifted students across Australian schools, potentially we have 10% of them, which is a significant portion. That would equate to 370,000 students across Australia.
The way giftedness works at that end, it's very vague and it's wishy-washy and there's no structure, and it comes down to the discretion of the principal.
Raz's mother, Margaret Munro, says she's been fighting the education system for 2 years to find opportunities for her son.
There's no contact person that has to deal with these kids, so technically everybody can say no and your child just doesn't get extended. Like, that's ludicrous. I was told that the important thing was to concentrate on his social development and just worry about, taking him to parks and doing a lot of those sorts of things. That's just completely and utterly the wrong advice.
Children need their educational rights to work at their potential met right now.
There are some schools taking the challenge of educating gifted students seriously.
Sometimes it's the gifted children are disengaged because the content is not interesting to them. They actually know what they're about to learn already, and they then underachieve.
You can tell me, what is 50%? Can we find...
Dr Geraldine Townend has designed a giftedness program for this Year 2 class at Lindisfarne Grammar, a private school in northern New South Wales.
Good. We have students in this class who are working above their normal age level, so they're either whole grade or subject accelerated. And these particular students here are doing maths that is at a grade or a grade above, or 2 grades above what we'd expect for grade 2.
But experts and families claim these opportunities are rare, especially in the state school system.
I was stuck doing the same stuff for so long that my ability stagnated as well with it.
Hunter Cullen shares his love of science on his YouTube channel under the screen name Midgie Nerd.
Tambury Mountain is home to 1,800 different plants and animals, some of which we'll take a look at now.
He's gifted in several subjects, including maths and science, but his mother believes primary school held him back.
His abilities went further than they were willing to go, so they were quite happy to sort of go 1 or 2 grades for a particular subject, but then after that they started to say, oh, you know, where will he go from there?
Now 14, Hunter's drive for learning is so strong, he's heavily involved in national science competitions.
You ready for our mentoring call?
Oh, yep, somewhat.
And he convinced former Boeing executive Michael Hipwood to become his mentor.
We were runners-up out of the 4 teams.
What were your major lessons that you learned?
I think we worked quite well as a team for the most part. I think a few management issues at the end kind of costed a little bit. But
Out of frustration, Hunter has left the Queensland state school system and is on academic scholarship with a private school.
It's been at times pretty heartbreaking. You have to sit there and tell your little boy that you know, there's no boundaries, and you know, life is what you make it, and if you're passionate about something, to go for it. At the same time, I'm fighting a system that can't help.
Across Australia, each state and territory government has a gifted education policy. Dr Jay Jung says in practice that can mean very little, and he's calling for urgent change.
Because this is not mandated, there's no legal requirement for these policies to be implemented. Often what happens is nothing is done for gifted students. One of the major issues that needs to be addressed at the moment in Australia is the need for all teachers to get training in gifted education.
Yeah, but the string theory predicts that...
Raz Munro is thriving now. He's doing advanced science, achieving a B- in Year 12 chemistry. He believes with the right education, gifted children could change the world.
Possibly might end up saving the world.
Like what, Raz? What do you mean by that?
Global warming, which is basically melting, or which is basically warming up the entire planet, which will eventually kill us all unless someone does something about it quickly.